Hey guys, welcome back to another Crimson Moon Battle Report. We're going to be playing some Claustrophobia, a game done by Asmodee Games. I believe this is the first edition of the game. I want to say there was another edition. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what it was called, but I know it was Claustrophobia 1863 or 93 or something like that. But this is all based off of another game, or it's based off of the universe of Eldorado, which was an old game. This was done by Cypher Studios, which is now defunct, no longer with us, unfortunately. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys will remember a small little game called Anima Tactics. That was also done by Cypher Studios. But we wanted to try Claustrophobia, which is more of a two-player mission-based game, and that's what we're going to be trying today. We're going to be trying the first mission, and I want to say I think it's the survivors, and the mission itself tells you which characters you'll be using, in which case we're going to be using 4 different characters. You'll have the Redeemer, you'll have the Brute, which is the condemned Brute, and then we're going to have 2 of the condemned Blade for Hire. And one of these Blade for Hire is going to have a blunderbuss, which is going to be the guy with the red bandana, which if you look at the figures, they do have, if I can focus, yeah, there you go. He's got red boots, and he's got a red bandana. Not the greatest camera, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Oh, he does, this one has red. Oh, it's just the bandana that's different. So one is blue and the other one is red. The guy with the red is going to have the blunderbuss. So real briefly, we're going to talk about the game itself. We'll maybe do a learn how to play at a later time, but for now, there is different phases to the game. The first phase is the initiative phase, in which you're going to be rolling a die for each character you have, and whatever you roll, you will determine who you want what that character to do, because each character has a different stat line. So real quickly, we'll go over an anatomy of the card. On the very top, you'll see MVT, which is your movement, CRT, which is your combat, and then DEF, which is your defense. And depending on what you roll, that's what you're going to place in this section right here. And that's going to determine their stat line for that round, that turn. So if you rolled a 3, you would have a movement of 1. You'd have 2 for your combat, which means you'll be rolling 2 combat dice. And then your defense, that's what your enemy is going to need in order to hit you. So they would need 4s or better to hit you. And as you take damage, you'll be grabbing these little red tokens. And with these red tokens is when you take a wound, you have to determine which one of these stats you want to place. So you have to be kind of careful, because you don't want to lose certain stat abilities, because once this is on there, for the rest of the game, you can't use that stat. So it's a very tactical game that you're going to have to kind of determine, okay, well, I can afford to lose this stat, but I don't want to lose this stat, or vice versa, whichever you're preferring. Each character also has kind of a passive ability. So like this guy here has elusive. The big Brute has bodyguard and impressive. I want to say bodyguard. He can actually take a hit from a demon if he's in the same location as one of the main characters, which is going to be your Redeemer. And then impulsive means, or impressive. I'm sorry. Impressive means that he can actually stop demons from jumping out, because on the tiles, there's only so many people that can be on one tile. And if you're equal to or less, you can't move out. So you actually have to outnumber your opponent in order to kind of jump in and out of a tile. Elusive that means that this character ignores that rule, so he can actually jump in, jump out whenever he wants. For the Redeemer, which is your main character, he is blessed, which means every round, actually it's not every round, once per game, he can give one of his servants +1 to his movement, +1 to his combat, or +1 to a defense. But that's a once per game thing that he could do. All right, and like I said earlier, he does have his own blessings. There is other blessings, but the actual scenario will tell you which blessings they start off with. And probably throughout the game, you could probably start getting different blessings, because the game does have kind of a mechanic where you loot treasure, you find stuff, then you can actually get other different equipment. But for this scenario, we're using these two. And if you notice, there's a little die up on top here. That means that these are tied to whatever you roll on his abilities dice. So like, for example, earlier I rolled let's say I rolled a 5, a 6, and a 2. Well, if I did the 5, he could do this ability, plus he would have that stat line for that turn. And some of these, they do certain things. Like I said, this one allows him to look at the tile, so he can determine which tile he wants to put up next. And then the other two, you kind of put them back in whatever order you want. And then the 2, that gives him a kind of a buff for his characters. Now, the reason you have the tiles is because when you're exploring, each time you move counts as an exploring. So that means that when you're, let's say they all have a movement of 1 depending on the stat you're doing. So if he's moving 1, you would grab a tile and you would determine, well, technically you would grab it, and the second player, whoever's controlling the demon player, is going to put this however he wants to put it. But it has to be a legal way for it to be put. He can't block it off and force you to go a different way. It has to be put in a way in which the tiles can continue to connect. So like, for example, here, he would have any of these would work just fine because they're all open in either way. So let's say he would just put it this way. So now that means that we have 1, 2, 3 different openings in which we can attach the next tile to it. So this game, we're going to be going 10 turns, and you're using the die. So when you're using the die, you're just going to place the die in one of the corresponding areas that's open. So for example, this, you would put it here. Now every time you explore, this is going to go up 1. So that means that since he's moving to there, that means this is going to go to turn 2. The next one is going to go to turn 3, and so forth and so forth. But once you hit 10, what you do is you're going to grab the actual exit tile, and that one you don't have to put in here. I kind of just set it aside because as soon as you hit 10, that exit tile is going to be the one that's going to be where you need to go. So that's pretty much how you win the game for the humans. The humans have to make it out of this dungeon, or whatever you want to call it. They have to reach the exit. 2 guys have to at least live in order for the humans to win. The demon player just has to kill everybody. The game also has cards, which are equipment cards. For this game, we're going to have just the blunderbuss, which is going to be on the gun for hire. And you also get advantage cards, and advantage cards are for the humans. This gives you it's pretty much what it's called. It gives you advantages throughout the game to try and slow down the demonic horde that's coming at you. The demons, however, do have their own cards, and these are the event cards. And these do all kinds of shenanigans to the humans, trying to stop them from exiting the dungeon, basically. Now, the demons, they do function a little bit different than the humans, which they have their own phase, which is called the threat phase. Now, what you do is you're going to roll 3 dice, and these are going to be your dice of destiny. So when you roll 2 4s and a 1. So now you're going to come over here, and you're going to look at all the different available abilities that they can do for that turn. So for example, this one, 2 dice with even scores, that gives you this ability. So I can technically spend the 2 4s, and that would give me the troglodytes are frantic, so they get the frantic ability on their next action phase, which would be this turn, this round. There are these as well. If you roll 7 or more, 11 or more, now you do have to commit those dice. So for example, if this one had the doubles, instead of doing that, since I rolled 8, I can actually do this one, which is a 7, and then I can do this ability instead. So you would put the 2 there, and then I think this one is any dice score, so you could throw the 1 there, and then that would give you an actual way to draw an event for the round, or I think it's this one right here. Oh no, this one gives you an extra destiny die. So that means on the next round, instead of rolling 3 dice, you're going to be rolling 4 dice. Now during the threat phase, you are buying and getting all the demons that you're wanting to do for that turn. So the troglodytes and the actual demon himself are the only 2 models that you're going to be able to buy during this scenario. So the troglodytes cost 1 point. I'd have to look to see what it's actually called, but these little tokens here. And then the demon himself costs 5 points. And the big demon himself has he's kind of a generic demon. You can use him for pretty much anything. It does come with a couple of different demonic cards. We'll just be using this one, which he has a health of 3, movement 1, combat 0, defense 4. But he does give frantic to all the troglodytes, and he gives them extra abilities as well, so that makes them a little bit more dangerous than the troglodytes themselves. Now after the threat phase, you have the demon action phase, and that phase is when all the demons will start moving and attacking. So the only way to bring on demons is they have to come in on a board with no humans, and they also have to come in on open entrances. So like here, for example, here they can come in here, here, and here. They wouldn't be able to come in through here because they're occupied. They can also only come in on actual connecting lanes. So if there's one that's blocking, they can't come in there as well, or they can't come in there as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and kick off the game. We'll have our tiles all ready to go. We're going to be drawing 1 card from the advantage card deck, and this is what the humans are going to have for this game to play. Now they can gain more if we do get a tile that has a treasure chest in which we can try and explore it. Okay, so we will start with the initiative phase. So we're going to be rolling 4 dice because that's how many characters we have. And this is what we rolled. We rolled 2 5s, a 3, and a 4. So we're going to take a look to see who is going to get what. So this is what we decided on. We put the 5 on the Redeemer. We did a 4 on the Brute, and then a 3 on this. What is he? Brute for Hire or Blade for Hire? Okay, Blade for Hire. And then we did a 5 for him. So his stat line is going to be a 2 1 3, making him a little quicker so that we can go and kind of spread out the area. Take a look at the tiles. He is a 1 2 3, so a little more defensive, also a little more of combat. And then we gave him a 4, which is kind of in between. He's got a 4 for defense, or a 5 defense, which is a 4, 5 defense, 2 attack, and then he's got 1 movement. And then the Redeemer is going to activate his gift, which I'm going to be able to look at the top 3 tiles. I'm going to be able to choose the one I want, and if I had another player, instead of him being able to choose the tile to put down, I can actually choose the tile to put down, and I'll put the other 2 back in any order that I want. And then for his stat line, he looks like he's going to be a 1 2 or 1 1 5, so he's going to be pretty defensive. So these are the tiles that I ended up picking from the top 3. They're pretty much all the same. This one's got a little crack here, so we're gonna pass on. Oh, actually, looks like this is just one straight path. So we're gonna choose just one of these that has all 4 that are connecting, and then we're gonna put this one on the top, where this one's gonna be on the bottom. So that means we'll be pacing it this way. Let's just move that over, and that's gonna go like that. And then we're just gonna scoot things over here, so that way we can have it all ready and connecting. All right, there we go. So technically that would have happened at the beginning of the activation. So the exploring, this would be the top one to reveal. I would be moving my Blade for Hire, so that would be the non-blunderbuss guy. So I'm gonna get the guy with the blue. So he would move here, I would draw this, and that would be the way it would go. And now he can move 1 more time. So we're going to move, oh, I forgot. This would have been placed on this side. So now since we moved it there, it's gonna go to a 2, and I'm just gonna place it there. And then he's gonna move that way, and that means that we're just drawing the next tile, which is still open, so I can put it any way. Well, technically it would be the demon, because now it goes to the demon player to put it, and so that goes down there. So that's going to go to a 3, and we'll be placing it there just to kind of give us a reminder that it's going to be the 3rd turn. So he would move his final turn, so he would just go to there. So now that means all his movement is done. So now I need to activate another character. So that means I am going to go ahead and move the guy with the blunderbuss, and he has a movement of 2. So he's going to go 1, 2 to be with his compadre over there. And then we've got the brute. He only has a movement of 1, so he's just going to move to there. And then he's just going to move 1, so he's just going to occupy where the brute is. And that's going to be the end of the turn for the humans. Now it's going to go to the demon player. So for this scenario, we were starting off with 4 points for the demon player, and now he's going to roll his dice of destiny. I'm going to put that there, and he got a 3, 5, and a 4. Let's we're going to take a look to see what the demon player is going to do. Okay, so we're going to, since we rolled 2 odd numbers, we're going to put that there. So that's going to give me +1 movement to the troglodytes that I buy. And then the 4, we're going to go ahead and draw an event. 1 die of excess of 3 or more. So I'm going to draw an event card. This is going to be for them, and they can play this at any time. This is just going to go into their hand. So that's going to go there. So now we're just going to buy the troglodytes. So we're going to spend 3. Because we want 3 troglodytes to start coming in. So they're going to spawn here, 1 here, and then 1 here. So that is the end of the threat phase. So now it goes to the demon action phase. So now they can move up to 2. So now they're going to move, and they're going to go into here. So we're going to go 1, 1, and 1. And we can only ever have up to 3 monsters and 3 humans on 1 tile. So right now we're good. So with this, we're going to go ahead and attack, because they can move and attack, or you can attack and move. So the first troglodyte is going to attack here. They each have an attack of 1. So I don't see anything wrong with just rolling all 3 dice. They're going to try and attack this guy here. Let's see if we can take him out, or at least do some damage to him, basically. So right now we got 2 hits because he is a 5 defense because of the 5. So yes, he is a 5 defense on there. So that means that we got 2 hits. However, since we are with the brute has bodyguard. So he's going to go ahead and soak up both of these. And so he's going to take 2 damage. So now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to fill out 2 of these markers here. All right, so we filled up the 5 and we filled up the 4. So that means he's got 4 wounds left. Once these are all filled, he is dead. So time for the second round. Let's go ahead and do our initiative phase. Those are going to be our die rolls, and let's take a look and see how we're going to place him. All right, so we put the 5 on our Redeemer, and he's going to go ahead and do his ability once again. So that means we're going to look at the top 3 tiles and choose the one we want, put the other 2 back in any order we want. The brute got the 4 since he couldn't use the 5 because he's wounded. It's blocked out, and so is a 2. So he's a little tanky. And then we put the 2 on the bladesman, and then the 5 on this bladesman so that he can move a little faster and keep exploring to find the way out. So these are the 3 tiles that I ended up picking, and one of these does have, if you notice, some of these tiles do have little emblems, and in the back of your rulebook it does show you what the meaning of those emblems are. I don't see this emblem there though, so I'm thinking this might be a tile from the second game expansion, or I should say expansion, which I'm not using, so I'm just gonna ignore that. But it does have connecting areas, and this one does have a chest, but problem is that there is no other connection, so that means that it would stop there, but I do have a chance to see what's in there. And then that looks like it's just a straight path, so I'm thinking we will go with maybe the chest just to see how that works. We'll put that one on the very top, and then this will go on the very last. So we'll be placing it like this, and we're gonna have to move our die tray here because now we're going to go to the first activation, which we're going to go ahead and use Blue Blade. So he's going to explore. He moves twice. So this is going to cut here. So now that means that this is open. This is going to go to 4, but now that's blocked. So that means that now we're going to have to choose one of these other open areas. So we'll put the 4 there. That's going to be the 4 turn. So that would have been his first activation. His second action would be to go ahead and search. So that means it's a chest. So that means we'll be getting an advantage card. Looks like it's a cool one, I guess. We'll take a look and see what that one is off the camera. All right, so then he's going to be done. So that means that we'll have him. And these guys are in a bit of a pickle over here. So I'm thinking I might use this grenade. And what this does is he throws it in a tile, and all the demons are going to take 2 strength die attack. So I might be doing that. Okay, so after carefully looking at the grenade, it's not a good idea because I can throw it and it counts as an attack action, but it's going to hit everybody in the adjacent tile. So that would hit my own guy. So I think I'm going to pass on that. And the one that I just drew, this one actually is played during the initiative phase, in which I'll play it and the demon player loses half of its tokens. It's TP tokens. So we're just going to go ahead and say that because we can't actually play it. But he does have the blunderbuss, so what he's going to do, he's going to shoot, and he's going to try and shoot one of these Troggoths. So he will blast there. So he's going to have his stat right now was the number 2, so it's a 1, 2, 4. So that means the blunderbuss adds +1, and when he's armed with the blunderbuss, you can at least shoot 1 tile over. So he's going to be rolling 3 dice, and he needs 3s or better to at least kill one of these Troggoths, and he gets nothing. He whiffs. Oh my gosh. Okay. So with that being said, he's just going to go ahead and move to keep exploring and keep this tile going. So now we're going to get this one. So this is just going to be placed there. He's going to move into it. Oh, where is he? There he is. I'm grabbing air. So he's just going to move to there, and I won't be using whatever that little hieroglyph is. It's just going to be an open spot. So this is going to go to a 5. Like, there it is. And we'll just put it this way. So it's just going to be there. So now on to the other 2 that are still haven't activated. So we're just going to go with the brute. So he's got the 4. So that means he is a 1, 2, 5. So he's going to have 2 dice. And for every 3 or better he gets, he's going to kill one of the troglodytes. He got 2. So that means 2 troglodytes are going to go down. So kill 2 of these guys. Okay. So now it's going to go to the preacher, and he only has a 1 attack because he got the 5, so he's a 1, 1, 5. So on a 3 or better, he can finish off that. Oh, actually, before he does that, they actually do outnumber him. So the brute's going to go ahead and move up 1, try and catch up with his friends over here, and then the redeemer, all by himself, he's going to take him out. So that takes care of this troglodyte. And for his last activation, he's just going to move up to be with his partner over here in crime. And they are done. So here we go, the threat phase. We got 2 4s and a 1. So we didn't get the greatest of scores. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the 1 and the 4. So that means that we're going to get 2 extra dice of destiny for the next round. And then on the other 4, I'm going to put it here to draw an event. So we're going to draw this event here. We'll see what that does there, but we are going to play this event. This is from the last turn, and all this is that we're going to cave in one of the areas. So I'll choose this one here. So that means that they're going to have to go through that area. So this is going to be blocked off, and a person can try and dig it out, but he has to have at least a combat of 2. So that means that right now or on the next turn, hopefully the brute would probably be the only guy that can actually dig it out. Okay, so token representing that this is blocked off, token representing that we did have a chest in there, which we already drew. And that's pretty much it for the threat phase. Am I going to buy anything? I guess I'll go ahead and buy one to bring in a troglodyte. And actually, since this is empty, I can't bring them in over there because that's blocked. Those are all blocks. I can't bring them in there. Somebody there. So he's just going to waltz in here. And actually, I'm going to bring in here so that way he won't die so quickly. And maybe I can get some reinforcements. And then for his action, he's just going to move there and he's just going to wait. All right, start the next round. Let's go ahead and keep it going. I got a 5, a 4, and 2 2s. We're going to stick with the 5 with the Redeemer so that we can go ahead and do the tile thing, and then we'll decide on these other ones. Okay, so with the Redeemer's power, let's take a look at these tiles. Top 3, if I can get them. So this is one tile, and I think this is another one here. It's stuck. Or no, it's just one. And then I think I see one that looks like it might be from the expansion. I think. Oh no, here we go. Let's see. I'll take a look to see what these actually are, what they mean. See, there's one there and there's one there. All right, so what this means is that this tile only holds one warrior because it's a tight fit. This one, I'm guessing it's from the expansion because I do not have that on this rulebook, unfortunately. So we're just going to ignore that. It's just going to be entrance there, entrance there, entrance there. This one looks like it's blocked off there and there, so it's just a straight path. So we will decide on how we're going to go through this, and then we'll put it on the table. Okay, so we're going to activate red, which is the blunderbuss guy, and this is the tile we chose. So we're just going to go across like so, and that's going to put it to 6. So we are getting very close. So I'll put it there, and then he's going to move over 1, but he only has a movement of 1, so that's going to be it. He's done there. And so now the other guys are going to start moving. So he will move up 1. So he's going to go to there. And then the brute, I think what he's going to do is he's going to go ahead and just stay here. And he's going to spend his activation to go ahead and clear that up, because he did have 2 on his combat. So that's going to clear off the cave-in. So now we can actually explore this way if we wanted to. So he's, do I really want to move him up? I think he's going to chill out there. The Redeemer's going to go ahead and move though, and he's going to go ahead and move this way. So now this is the path. So that means it's going to connect like this. And that's going to be a dead end for that top one. And that means that this is going to go to 7. And it's going to go down here. And then the Redeemer is just going to move up, because now there's just straight path right here. So now let's do the threat phase. So we're going to have the 3 plus the 2 from the last turn. That goes away. So now we're going to roll, and let's see what we got here. All right, so this is what we did. We did 1 die of any score, so that means we're going to add additional destiny die for the next round. We did an even and an odd, so all our troglodytes are at +1 defense. Plus, if he gets killed during the next human phase, I'm going to be getting 2 TPs, which are those little tokens, so that I can get more demons out. And then I put 2 more here to draw events. So I'm going to draw 2 events here. So we're going to draw this here. And then we'll draw this here as well. And we're going to play this one, which is Defect. This was from the last one. And this makes the human player discard one of their equipments. There's only 1 equipment, so that means that the blunderbuss has been destroyed because it is faulty. So now movement, because it is the demonic player's turn. So he's just going to move up 1, and he is going to attack. We're going to choose to attack, I'm going to say the Bladesman. So right now he's on a 2, so he's standing at a 1, 2, 4. So I need a 4 better at least. and he missed. Okay, so that is the demon phase. So now let's go to the initiative phase. All right, here we go. 3, 4. So we're gonna go ahead and do the ability on our character, the Redeemer, and then we'll choose where those go. All right, so this is how we went. The 5 is gonna use his ability. 4 for the Brute because the 5 and the 2 are blocked. 3 on the Bladesman and 1 on the Bladesman. So neither one of them is that fast, so they're gonna be a little slow, but they'll get a little bit better on their defenses and attacks. All right, so let's take a look at the top 4 tiles. See if maybe we get a good one here. So we know that one because it's the narrow. That's just another path. And this one looks like it's a little bit more pathy. It's going to be a connection to either there, or there. So we'll probably go with that one on top. We'll put this one on the very bottom because you can only have one guy, and then this will probably be the second one. So we're going to start with this Bladesman. Doesn't have his blunderbuss anymore, so he's just going to move up. We will place it like so. So he's just going to move 1 there. That's going to put us at 8. And we'll just put the die down here. Oh, of course, it takes me about an hour just to put the 8. There it is. So he's done. So now over here, we're going to go ahead and go with the Brute. He's just going to smack that troglodyte. So let's get some dice here. And looks like he's got an attack. He's a 4, so he's a 1, 2, 5. So 2 dice, needing 3s, and he gets crushed. But since we had that ability, that means we're going to gain 2 tokens for the demon side. And then he's just going to move 1, go to there, and then he's going to move as well. And he's just going to move this way into there. So all we have left is the Redeemer, and he's just going to go ahead and scout once more. So this is going to go to a 9, and we'll be ready for the next one, which is this tile, and this is just a path. So now that means that this is blocked, so now it's just going to be one of these. I'm just going to put this up here. That means that the next tile is going to be the exit, so it's going to be either here or here. My bad, I forgot. I should have moved the Redeemer. He would have gone to there because he explored. So now let's go ahead and roll our dice for the threat phase. So it's 3, but then we had +1 because of this. Let's see what we got. Looks like we're going to have 2 even, 2 odd. So we're going to place 2 here. So we're going to be drawing 2 event cards. And then we're going to do the same thing like last time. +1 defense. And if any of my troglodytes die in the next round, I'm going to have 2 of these points. So now I'm going to spend 2 here. I'm going to summon 2 more troglodytes. So one is going to be placed here, and then the other will be placed here. And they're just going to move. So it's just going to be 1 there, and he's just going to move up there. And actually during the threat phase, actually I should have done, before I do that, I would have been doing the threat phase. And this is going to be a demonic possession. So that means I can choose a character and he can attack any other character. So he's going to attack the Blade for Hire. So he's using his current stat. Now I should have done that in the threat phase, so that's my apologies. So he's going to be rolling 2 dice. The shenanigans of the demons begins, and see if we can't kill somebody off here. So that means he is needing, that is the gentleman in blue. So he's a 1, so that means he is a defense of 3. So he's going to get a hit, so that means he's going to take 1 point of damage. So he took his damage there, but since 2 and 3 are pretty much the same stat line, we can go ahead and sacrifice 1. So now we're going to play this, which is Toxic Fumes. And now everybody that's on 1 tile is going to take a point of damage. The warriors suffer a hit on a die roll. Oh, a die roll and a 3 or better. They're going to take a point of damage. So we're going to do this guy's first. So let's do the bladesman. 3 or better, he's going to take a damage. He did. And then the brute also takes the damage. So that's 2 damage going on both of these characters. And there we go. The brute's got 3 damage on him, and now he's got 2 on him. And that's all the shenanigans for the demons. And there would move, which he moved there, he moved there. So now we're on to the next round. So this would be the final turn of the game. So let's go ahead and we will roll up the initiative phase and see what everyone is going to get here. So rolling, looks like we got 2 6s, a 5 and a 3. There's no reason to do his ability. So all we want is some speed on these guys. So a 6 would give them a 1. Looks like everyone's gonna be really slow here. So, and I didn't get a 2, so I can't activate the gift from the Redeemer. So we'll decide how we're gonna play this out. So this is how we're going to play it out. The 6 went to the Redeemer, the 6 went to the Brute because he can't have the 5 and he can't have the 3. And then the 3 went to this Bladesman, and then the 5 went to this Bladesman since his 6 is blocked out and his 2 is. Okay, so starting with the first activation, we're going to go ahead and activate the Redeemer, and he's just going to explore. You can only move 1, and basically you don't draw a tile. This is the tile that you would just place there. That is the exit, as shown right there by that little glyph, and we're just going to connect it to this area here. So now all we have to do is 2 characters have to land on here, and that pretty much ends the game. So with him going there, that means that we've got 1, so we need 1 more character to try and get out. So he won't be able to make it because he's blocked, and in fact he's going to have some company there in a minute. So we're just going to activate these guys, and the Brute's just going to move 1 to there, and then this Bladesman's going to move 1 to there. He's going to go ahead and attack, so he's just going to move to here, and that is the red one. And the red one right now, he's on a 3s, and so his stat is a 1 2 4. So he's going to attack that troglodyte, and he needs 3s. He slammed them, so that's going to kill that troglodyte, and at the same time it's going to activate that ability in which you kill 1. The demon player is going to get 2 token points for his turn. So correction, he actually needed 4s, but he did roll 2 5s, so he did kill them because they were +1 to their defenses from the last turn, from the last ability. So that is the human player's turn. So now it goes to the threat phase, and we're going to get the 3 dice, and this time we didn't get any bonus dice, so it's just going to be whatever we roll here. So it looks like we got 2 odds and 1 even. So we really can't get any more points, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 2 of my 5s so that we can get 2 event cards, and then this it's not really going to mean anything, so I'm just going to do it there. That means I'm going to get an additional die for the fate dice for the next round, but there is no next round. So let's just draw our 2 events. Let's see if anything does come out of it. So we'll get Terror. So actually we could probably play that now since it is the threat phase, and then we get Lost. And it looks like that's going to be during the human player's exploring, so that's not going to mean anything. So the only one I could do is the threat. This one, I can play it and move a condemned warrior of your choice to a neighboring tile connected to an opening without applying the blocking rule. So actually I could probably play that, and that means one of these characters would have to be thrown back because of terror. So I'm just going to move the Brute back since he's a little weak, and he will go to that area. But there's no way to stop him, so that's pretty much going to be the threat phase. Oh, actually, I need to buy, so I'm going to spend the 2 points that I got from earlier. We're going to bring in 2 troglodytes, and now 1 is going to go there because that is an opening, and there's nobody there to block them. And then the other, I guess we'll just go here because there's really no other entrance. Or actually, it doesn't really matter. He'll just go there, I guess. Okay, so now it's going to be on to the demonic player's phase. They can only move one, so he's just going to move to there. He's going to move to there. This one's going to attack here. And he's going to strike. So he's going to be, it's a 1 die, combat die. And I believe he missed, because that is the red one. I think he is a 4 defense. So yes, it was indeed a 4 defense, so he did whiff. And that's going to be the end of the demonic turn. So now it goes on to the final phase, which should be enough just to get him out. So here we go, rolling the dice for initiative, and that is the roll. All right, so since he's gone, I probably should have rolled 1 less die because he's technically not on the board anymore. So we're not going to activate him. So we're just going to go with this character here. He is going to go to there, which is pretty much going to complete the game. He is actually going to throw the grenade into this area to see if he can't blow those guys up. So each character on that tile is I'm gonna roll 2 combat dice, and I'm needing 3s to try and take them out. So for the first, or actually I think it's just a solid roll. So it's 2 4s. That means it's gonna be 2 troglodytes blown up with a grenade. So yes, I kind of read that wrong. It's just 2 dice attacking everybody on the board, and you just select who's going to get hit. It's not 2 dice per character. So that means the 2 is going to do 2 damage, 1 damage per die, so that's going to be 2 troglodytes dead. And then for his final activation, he's just going to move to there, and then he's going to strike. And he right now that's the red one, so he's on a 1 2 4, so 2 more dice, and he whiffs. All right, so, and he can't retreat because he's pretty much outnumbered. They have to they're equal, so it has to be outnumbering in order for, oh, actually, no, he has elusive, so he can move. So he's just gonna move 1, he's just gonna go to there. So we'll finish the round doing the threat phase. So this is what, whoops. Oh yeah, it was 4, because it was 3, and then we had 1 from the last one. So that is the die roll, and let's see what we got. All right, so for the threat phase, we're gonna put 2 even dice here. So that's gonna give the troglodytes frantic, which means they can reroll hits if they miss. And then we're gonna draw 2 event cards. So for the first one, looks like we got Demonic Rage, played during your threat phase. The demons and hellhound. Oh, I can't even use this. The demons and hellhounds are, but not troglodytes. All right, never mind. So that's worthless to me. And then the last one is going to be this one, which is the Crisis of Faith. Play when an even player declares the war. Oh, whenever they're using their gifts, they pretty much cancel them. So none of those cards can help me out, unfortunately. So now it's just going to go to the demonic phase. So he is frantic, so he's just going to move to there. That's the only troglodyte I have. I have no more points to spend. So he's just going to attack. He's got his 1 die attack. He needs 4s, and he doesn't need the reroll. He gets a hit, so that's going to do a damage to the gentleman in the red bandana, and we would just fill that out accordingly. So he took his 1 point of damage, and that's pretty much the demonic phase, and that's pretty much the end of the game. We reached 2 characters there. We're just going to call it there because that's all we needed to do to achieve the mission. And we did just that. So that pretty much ends the game. And remember, this is just like this is the starter scenario that they recommend you play, so that way you can kind of learn the game mechanics and pretty much how everything plays out. There are different handicaps you can add for the demons, for the humans, to make it a little tougher in case you want to give a little more spice to the demons. Maybe they get more points, because that's what you need. You need those demonic points in order to bring more characters in. But then again, I probably did a few things wrong. There was one here that I get 2 points per odd die. The only thing is I'm not too sure if it means I have to roll all odd or all even, or if I just apply those dice. And that's probably how you play it. But again, we do make mistakes on these kind of battle reports, so just let me know in the comments below if you think that was done wrong. But that's Claustrophobia, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys haven't liked and subscribed, please feel free to do so. I thought the game was actually pretty quick. It doesn't take too long, though I think it takes longer to set it up than it is to play. And the game mechanics are pretty simple. It's just getting the initiative and making sure you pick the right ones for the characters. I thought this was pretty neat with the faith cards being connected to whatever die roll that you rolled, and some of those did come in very handy. The equipment, I know that some of the tiles do have different treasure icons on them. I didn't really go through it since I purchased the box. I ended up buying the box and the expansion at the same time, so they were all kind of mixed in. So I try to do my best to kind of separate them. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe so you can check out all the latest videos that will be coming out very soon. We are going to get to trying to put more content out. This is probably the first video of 2025, and we do apologize for being a little on the lazy side. We're just trying to get back into the swing of things, basically, and get some more games pumped out. Thanks so much, guys, for joining me on checking out Claustrophobia. Keep rolling dice, and don't forget to always paint your walls crimson. Take care, guys.